Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my post-fight analysis for the Ultimate Fighter 16 finale. It was a really good night of fights. Lots of knockouts here. Really cool Doris choke from Dustin Poirier. Guys like Rustam Khabilov really came up. There's some prospects that are to definitely look out for. As far as awards go, Pat Barry earned knockout of the night. That was a crazy knockout. TJ Waldberger got submission of the night, and Tim Elliott versus Jared Papazian got the fight of the night bonus. So yeah, let's get started. Roy Nelson TKO'd Matt Mitrione in the first round of the main event. Nelson actually showed use of combination punching in this fight and not just through like a single overhand right. I liked what I saw from Mitrione too, though. His kicks look really good. When he used to throw kicks, especially head kicks, they were very lackadaisical. I mean, he just doesn't. They don't look like they have a lot of power to them. They're just kind of thrown wildly, but when he threw it here, you can see that his work with the Blackzilians really paid off in that respect. He even defended Roy Nelson's takedown attempt, so that's good to see, because Mitrione didn't look like, in previous fights he's shown some pretty bad takedown defense. Not saying, I don't know how much it's improved, because Nelson's not a great offensive takedown guy or anything like that, but he didn't get taken down super easily. Otherwise, I did get this pick right. As far as ones I got wrong, I got the Smith one wrong, the Pat Barry one wrong, Bedford wrong, and the I missed 4 of them, and I got all the other ones correct, so it wasn't too bad. With Nelson, he's a gatekeeper to the division. I mean, he's lost to Frank Mir, he's lost to Verdum, he's lost to Junior Dos Santos. But he consistently shows he beats the Dave Hermans, the Matt Mitriones, at just the lower and mid-tier of the division. I'd like to see him get a top 10 guy next, despite what I just said, because honestly, he kind of deserves it. I mean, he's on something of a streak now, and he's kind of got a name now too. Definitely a guy that's really hitting his stride later in his career, because he never used to really have these hands. I would have, if Bigfoot wasn't fighting over him, I would actually have liked to see Bigfoot fight Nelson. A lot of people are saying Daniel Cormier, if he beats, when he comes from Strikeforce to fight Nelson. Josh Barnett wouldn't be too bad either. I also hear like Mark Hunt, even though Mark Hunt's fighting Stephen Struve. Some people are saying Pat Barry. I don't like that fight for Pat Barry whatsoever. So, yeah, there's a lot of good fights for Nelson. With Mitrione, I mean, one of the problems with Mitrione, though, is that he started pretty late. He started in his 30s doing MMA. He's pretty good. He's not that bad. He's still improving. But, like I said, he started really late. He did football before this, so I mean, he has some wear and tear on his body already just from that, and now he's in mixed martial arts as well. But he should definitely fight some, like, maybe the loser of like Todd Duffy versus Philip DeFries or someone like that. He can fight Shane Del Rosario. There's some more lower to mid-tier at best type guys. Okay, Colton Smith won the Ultimate Fighter 16 finale by beating Mike Ritchie by unanimous decision. A lot of people didn't like this fight too much. One thing that bugged a lot of people too, and Goldberg was doing this throughout the whole broadcast, is he keeps referencing legends. Colton Smith's in the military, and he has a grinding style. Therefore, he's a lot like Randy Couture. And I'll go to Mike Pyle and like Anderson Silva. It's like, this type of hyperbole from Goldberg. It's not. It makes people want to tune him out, and that's not a good thing. I mean, commentary you know, the Goldberg-Rogan commentary, usually you can find something pretty bad about these guys, but sometimes it's usually Goldberg, but Rogan does it too. He'll like overdo it a lot of times. Mike Ritchie, I mean, that guy is a grinder. He just took down Colton Smith. Really aggressive about his takedowns. Took the back when he wanted. Ritchie just didn't look like, you know, he had a really bad game plan here too. It's like he throws single kicks to the body sometimes, and they're kind of half-hearted. I mean, he didn't fight in a way that would be good against wrestlers. You know, I understand that both these guys are planning to move back down to lightweight. I know Colton Smith, he fights a lot like Tim Kennedy. I mean, just a lot. He reminded me of like, watch like Tim Kennedy fight like a Robbie Lawler or just anyone, you know. And this is, Colton Smith looks like he fights just like Tim Kennedy, you know. Both these guys should just fight more the lower to mid tier of the division. It's tough to say where these guys can go because Smith at least is pretty young. Does have good wrestling. He does have a grinding style. So, I mean, he might be able to get somewhere. It's really hard to say, or else he can just fizzle out. Both these guys, you know, I'm really on the fence to see if they're like real prospects or just like perennial mid tiers, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, next fight after that, Pat Barry knocked out Shane Del Rosario to next week in the second round of the fight. Del Rosario, I mean, he definitely had the superior Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as shown at the end of the, pretty much most of the first round, but Pat Barry just knocked his, I mean, that was a KO of the year. His head just flew back, you know, and then Del Rosario just got knocked out. Just have to say, you know, Del Rosario was a prospect to watch out for a while now. His career trajectory is not looking so great. I hate to say it. You know, he used to fight the Ole Thompsons, the Philip DeFries, the Rob Broughtons of the world if they still keep him. You know, Del Rosario has good, you know, good skills. I mean, he has good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has good stand-up, but it's just, you know, I don't know what it is. He can't seem to win in the UFC. He lost to Stipe Miocic, and now he just lost to Pat Barry. You know, with Barry, the problem with Barry is, like, seriously, if this guy was a better fighter, I think he'd draw so much money for the UFC. I mean, this guy's personality, inside and outside the cage. I mean, the guy's always like crying after fights, but he just seems like the coolest guy, you know, or in my opinion, at least. But he kind of lacks a really well-rounded skill set for one. He's trying to improve. You can tell he's trying to improve his grappling. You know, his striking's still deadly. I mean, it's just really deadly. But yeah, you know, I'd like to see Barry get the winner of Todd Duffy versus Philip DeFries. Just more mid to lower tier guys. There's a certain level of guys that Pat Barry fights that he just can't beat, but they still keep him around nonetheless. You know, and I love the guy. He's really good, really charismatic. You know, has really fun fights, win or lose. I mean, this guy goes out on a shield or knocks guys out. Okay, next fight after that, Dustin Poirier beat Jonathan Brookins by submission in the first round. This fight was really good, but it was also kind of worrying as far for Dustin Poirier. You know, he gets into brawls a lot of times, but otherwise he managed to recover and get his own strikes in, and got a really nice submission here, man. It didn't beat Wahlburgers, but it was still really nice, nonetheless. You know, some people are saying like Chad Mendes or you know, there's a lot of good fights for Dustin Poirier because Nick Lance is fighting Diego Nunes. Winner of that fight can get Poirier. Cub Swanson's fighting Dennis Seaver. Winner of that fight can get Poirier. Hachiyoki is fighting Clay Guida. You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys for him to fight. With Brookins, I mean, this guy's on a losing skid. He really needs... His striking's improving, but his defense still sucks. I mean, that's his problem. His defense is terrible. You know, he's he has good wrestling and he's deceptively strong, but you know it just his stand-up's really bad. He needs to fight more lower to mid-tier of the division. He seems to be he gets fed the whoops too. I mean, granted, that's the thing with Poirier. I mean, he gets like Eric Koch, you know, or Brookins. Brookins gets like Eric Koch, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier. I mean, he gets some really tough guys. Okay, on to the prelim card. Mike Pyle knocked out TKO James Head with knees and punches in the first round. Goes back to the bad commentary here, man. I mean, Goldberg. Oh, anyone gets a tie clinch to knees, you know, is reminiscent of Anderson Silva. You know, God. James Head, you know, he's still a good prospect, and he's just big for the weight class. There's really good boxing. His wrestling's improving as well. You know, he's still going to be, you know, he could still be a prospect for the division. It's really tough to say. It looks like he'll be a tough fight for anyone. But Pylo's been just looking great, man. Knocked out Ricardo Funch, knocked out Josh Neer, knocked out James Head. I mean, it's really finally coming together for this guy, and he's 37 years old. The only problem with him is he's a really good gatekeeper. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, guys like Roy McDonald, Jake Ellenberger, who are big, you know, he's gatekeeper to the stars, you know, because, you know, those guys are now breaking into the top 10, and then there's guys like John Hathaway, James Head that he's bringing down, you know, it's just by beating them, you know. So maybe like the winner of Eric Silva versus Jay Haran, Skip Pyle, or a guy like Mike Pierce. That guy's always like that, you know, in the fringe. You know, he's always on the fringe as well. So I mean, there's some good fights with Pyle. With Head, same thing. Lower to mid tier guys can't. You know, it's tough to say who exactly. Like the loser of Haran versus Eric Silva, or like maybe he should fight like a Kyle Noak, or, you know, just someone like that, you know. Next fight after that, Johnny Bedford, man, knocked out Marcos Vinicius in the second round. Bedford's going to be a tough 135er, man. He's big for the weight class, you know. I regret not picking him now, actually. I was pretty high on Vina, but, man, Vina had nothing for Bedford here. Just on the stand-up, he used his reach really well, his wrestling sharp, his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I mean, the guy's really well-rounded, and he's big for the weight class. You know, Bedford, I don't know if he'll break into the top 10 or anything, but he's definitely a well-rounded guy, and he's going to be a tough fight for a lot of guys. You know, I'd like to see Bedford fight like a Mizugaki. Geez, who else is at 135? He could fight Hugo Viana. That wouldn't be too bad. But I do want to see that. It's not a bad fight, but at the same time, I don't need to see that fight because they're both they're still more or less prospects. You know, who else could he fight? Oh, Assunção versus Bedford. I mean, that's pretty high up there, but I don't think that'd be a bad fight. Bedford can fight a guy like Mike Easton as well, you know. With Vina, more lower to mid-tier guys in bantamweight, you know. But yeah, I was really impressed with what I saw from Bedford. I mean, man, he showed some power here. Just some really good stuff from him. Definitely, you know, I kept, you know, he beat Godina really bad, and on the show he didn't look too bad. He always looked well-rounded. He lost to Dodson, you know, no shame in that. You know, he's looking solid now. Another guy who looked really good, though, Rustam Khabilov beat Vince Pichel by KO by slam, by German suplex in the first round. Yeah, I don't know if he can do this to other guys in the division, but man, way to make an entrance into the UFC. That's my personal knockout of the night. Oh, actually, the Barry one's pretty crazy, though. But still, KO that way, pretty good stuff. You know, he's training at Jackson's. He obviously has really strong wrestling. Still a young guy. Definitely a prospect to look out for. He should definitely get just more lower to mid-tier guys. Same with Vince Pichel, who had just nothing for a stomp. Okay, TJ Waldberger got just choked Nick Catone unconscious in the second round of the fight. TJ Waldberger's a guy that's really gonna, he's still young. He gets knocked out a lot. He has a lot of knockout losses, but man, when there's a submission there, he goes for it. This guy's submission ability is just fierce. His scrambling ability is really good. Just on the ground, he's just a guy you don't want to go to the ground with, pretty much. Catone, there's some. I was kind of worried that maybe he'd be, he wasn't a small middleweight. He'd be really big. But dude, Waldberger just put it on him. Waldberger's kind of, I consider him like a prospect in the division. It's tough to say who he fights though. I mean, he has some noticeable losses, to like Brian Ebersol, for example. He lost to Hendricks, but he's still someone that's improving. His hands are improving a lot more. So it's tough to say who he can fight next. I'm trying to think of like welterweights that he can fight, because I mean there's a lot of good fights. If you even want to give him Mike Pyle, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, to be honest. Like I said, Mike Pyle's a really good test for Waldberger. They're both really good on the ground. I kind of like that fight, actually, now that I think about it. Waldberger, I don't know if he fought Story yet, maybe like a Rick Story or something like that. It's really tough to say. With Catone, I don't know. He doesn't really fit. I think he lost to Chris Camozzi at middleweight, and now he lost to Waldberger. I don't know where he fits in the picture. They might cut him. I don't know. Next fight after that, Hugo Viana beat Ruben Duran by TKO in the first round. Man, Viana's just a little fireball. This guy's awesome. He speaks Brazilian and Brazilian. My God, he speaks Portuguese and English really well. He's definitely got a personality. He looks like a little Wolverine. And man, did he knock out Duran? I mean, he just knocked him down like multiple times. Duran was a prospect in the division, but the layoff could have affected him, but honestly, I think he was just really aggressive. He throws with bad intentions, and he can knock you out. He's just I'd like to just see him get more fights. I can't really say against who. I mean, geez, who's out there? Bantamweight's just got, it's really hard for me to think who's in bantamweight. I know guys like Caraway's in there, Mitch Gagnon, Easton, Sunshine. I mean, there's guys there. It's really hard to say who he should fight next. Jeez. I mean, yeah, you can fight like a guy like Bedford. You can fight a guy. I like to see him get a guy who's coming off a win. Funny stat with Viana too. This is actually his first official pro MMA finish that he has. All of his fights have gone to decision, actually. With Duran, it's back to the drawing board. With Viana, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I guess he can fight like Francisco Rivera, who's also a prospect. That'd be a pretty cool fight. But I think Rivera's just more technically sound. Maybe an Alex Caceres. See, a lot of guys in the lower to mid tier and bantamweight at this point are kind of like prospects. It's really hard to say who he should really fight next. And next fight after that, Mike Rio beat John Kofor by armbar in the third round. This is 2 losses in a row for Kofor. Might be cut. It's really tough to say. But with Rio, I mean, he lost I think he lost to Al Iaquinta on the show. So, there's really not much I can really say about this fight, except they should both just fight more lower to mid-tier guys in their division. And finally, the flyweights got Fight of the Night honors. Tim Elliott beat Jared Papazian by unanimous decision. One thing that's funny is, I think Papazian claimed, I mean, there's some bad blood between these guys. Papazian claimed that Elliott, bit him and stuff like that. But, Elliott's got some really wild striking, and despite losing to Dodson, he looked good against Dodson. Of course, he's really wild. He's going to be a tough fight for anyone, but, I mean, there's a couple fights going on in flyweight that he can probably get. I know Ulysses Gomez is fighting a guy named Billy. I forgot his name now. Jeez. And he can get the winner of that, though. John Moraga is fighting Chris Carriazo, the winner of that. So there's a lot of fun fights for him in the flyweight division. So that's pretty much it for my Ultimate Fighter 16 finale post-fight analysis. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.